Hey guys, it's Core Ross, and today I'm going to be completing my build of Deimos' Revolver from Rainbow Six Siege, and this is a 3D model created by Trox, and I've been helping to beta test it, and it is now going to go on sale. So if you want to support the creator of this 3D model, you can go check it out, and of course make your own. But anyway, let's jump back into building this. So in the last video we got all the body done and painted up, and I think it looks pretty good. But now we need to actually add all the accessories. So we've got the hammer, we've got the trigger, we've got mechanism to make the trigger actually move, and we've got a few pins to hold everything together. We've even got a clicker that we'll see later as well. So let's get started with this. Of course, hammer goes on the back, pretty simple piece, a lot of area to actually glue it on. Then we've got the trigger, which is two separate parts, along with a pin that connects it all together as well. Now, if you're looking to just see the completed version, I'll have a timestamp in this video, you can go check that out. But here's the instructions. We're not putting the top part on, that's for attaching the sight, and I've decided to go with no sight for this one, going for cinematic version. But we have everything else that pops together. And you can see that we got a pin to put in here. So this goes through the other piece that I printed, and I left unpainted, so it's just black, and that way it'll hold it in place. And I didn't need any glue with this, I just used a clamp to force it through. So it can actually come back out, but it's also solidly in there, so that's pretty awesome. And then once it's in there, that's when you can go ahead and attach the trigger, and just need some glue, and it actually solidly goes in with a few different attachment points and a lot of surface area, so I think it'll hold pretty damn well. And it looks good because we've got the matte black piece above it and then the metallic painted trigger, which I think gives it just a little bit more detail than I originally thought it was going to have, so that's pretty sweet. But now that I've left it all to dry, we're going to come in and just add a tiny piece on, and also this pin. So this pin here does nothing, purely visual, matches up to what the original model looks like in game and in the cinematics. And then we have the tiniest of pieces that you see there. That is the clicker. So that's going to just literally make a clicking noise whenever the cylinder rotates. Now, of course, there's nothing mechanical here that actually makes the cylinder rotate. You have to physically do it with your fingers. But it's, of course, kind of cool that it makes a noise. So we're going to slap that in. And by the end of the video, we'll be able to see if it actually does click. But before then, I do actually have some satisfying clicks, and it's going to come from this grip. So have a little listen to this. So yeah, this is the most satisfying actual part for me entirely, because this goes together with no glue whatsoever. So here's a few more clicks as well. Yeah, so this is my favorite part. No glue, could come back out whenever the heck I want. Absolutely lovely. Very, very nice. And it looks great. I think it came out exceedingly good on this grip. Very, very happy with it indeed. Now, everything we've done up until this point has been the easy parts. Now we're moving on to the hard part, which is the cylinder and the mechanism that allows it to spin, rotate out, and all that. And of course, this is where the rounds would be held if this was a real weapon. Of course, this is made out of plastic, but these are all the bits, including a spring as well. So allow this thing to push back into position when it's fully seated and come out when it's not. And be noted, that is a spring from a mechanical pen. Here's the really good instructions from the original designer, which show how this should all go together. And yeah, pretty damn cool, but very complicated, although it should go together relatively well. So let's jump in. So of course, this is all extremely delicate. So let's begin with a hammer. So this is actually the piece that's going to cause the clicking with the clicker that's already on another part of the gun. So when it rotates, it should sound pretty damn cool. And this is delicate stuff now. We've got a pin that goes in, which is what the spring pushes out and in when it's thinking of like to lock itself in position when it's fully seated. And then we've got another piece that goes around it to hold that pin in place so that hopefully it should not just come flying out at some point. So with that all created, we now can start to put this all together, because the rest of it doesn't need much in the way of glue, and especially for a test fit here, we can do that. So this is me just having a quick look to see if the spring is going to push out that little nubbin, and it does. Now this bit here is supposed to be glued on, but I found it to be just like absolutely snug to the point of where, yeah, I was quite happy to just put that on. And it does mean that I can also take it off if need be, if anything goes wrong. And I can always come back, of course, and glue it up if I need. But yeah, this went pretty good. And need to do a little bit of cleanup on this last piece. So that is another bit that goes through the gun's body. But what it does is it holds in the actual part that swivels out. So this is cool too, because again, it means I can take this back out. So if I ever want to replace this with a different mechanism, then I totally can. And this is a bit that should be glued in as well. But of course, for this little test fit, I'm not going to do that. But certainly you would want to glue this part in, because otherwise, if you open it up, the cylinder might come flying out. So you don't want that to happen. But yeah, you can see how this is going to start coming together really freaking nice. I've got a little cap that needs to go on the end of the pole, but I'm not putting that on yet because it will lock it in. And just kind of testing it, see how it feels. It seems to be working okay. So with that test fit being a success, it's all about gluing it all up and getting to the point where it is actually fully done. And once this is complete, that'll be it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to end up looking and sounding. And yeah, this is a beautiful 3D print. Definitely worth the time and effort to make it. And of course, thanks to Trox for actually designing these 3D parts and letting me be a little tester of how they all went together. But we're almost at the final stage here where I can show you the final thing and have you listen to all the nice features of it as well. So here she is, fully complete, fully assembled, and listen to this. So that's pretty damn cool. Now it has a little bit of a plasticky noise because of course it is plastic, but I think it's worked out sensational. I also added some paint onto the actual site, so we've got some nice green there, and you can see how this all moves. Now there's only one little change I think I would do for the 3D model at this point that I had any kind of issue with, and it's the fact that we do have a little nubbin on the end of the cylinder there that of course locks it in place when it goes in, but it needs a ramp. If you look here, it needs just a little hole and a ramp so that it can slide in and up. Otherwise, of course, you got to push it yourself. Other than that, things went together surprisingly well. Considering I was the first person to ever print this, I'm quite happy. And I'd go back and I'd probably fix a few things with paint job and a few joins and things like that. But yeah, super happy with this. It looks great. Love how everything goes together. The overall design of it looks brilliant, and construction was a lot of fun. This was just a really good, enjoyable build. And yeah, whole thing looks brilliant at the end of the day. And I'm extremely happy with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below as well. I'll also give you some high-res photos here at the end that you can just look at to see what you think. And yeah, I think the paint job actually came out alright too. Added on the black to those little muzzle brake parts so that they look a little bit deeper than they are. And then of course, it feels really freaking good in the hand. It really feels incredible. So extremely happy with it. And yeah, Deimos' Revolver.